We are just moments away from starting another episode, and it's been a long time since we talked about money. And boy, does everyone love it when we do that. So why don't we do that today on Kingdom Speak? Welcome to Kingdom Speak with Pastor Daniel McKillop. Hello, it's Friday.
A warm Friday.
It is a cold one. Woo! Woo! It was minus 27 when me and Milo went on our journey this morning. Mm-hmm. And boy, it was brisk.
With the wind chill.
Speak that in Americanese.
Convert minus 27 Celsius to Fahrenheit. Minus 16.6 Fahrenheit.
Hey!
Brothers and sisters,
we're going to have one.
Deliver us from this cold weather.
Yeah. We heard
ever more cool conversation today.
Yeah. The inauguration was cold, they say.
We're going to put the gospel on ice today.
That's right. It is.
Yeah.
Welcome back. It's Friday. I hope you're having a great week. And if you're driving down the road, honk your horn. And let's jump into a review.
Have you ever had it cold enough? You're just talking about driving down the road, and your car's been sitting for a while. Everybody in
this can
that's
happen.
lived. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is a thing.
This can happen.
Where the tires get a flat spot on the bottom.
Yeah, the car just kind
and it just takes a little not ice. It's just yeah. It's almost that cold this morning.
I have this thing. Anybody who rides with me knows. I keep the temperature in my vehicle on auto.
Yes.
I'm a huge fan of that. I just, none of this freezing, melting. I don't do all that. Anyways, I had to go to the
dentist. Do you have them synchronized?
Everything is synchronized, yeah. There's none of this
Passenger
individual
same temp
zones.
as
Now, if somebody rides with me and they want to mess it up, but when I'm driving alone for sure, everything is synchronized. And I'm driving, and I was probably 20 minutes down the road, and I had it set at, I think it was 22 and a half because it was cold. It's not usually like a 21 guy, but it was 22 and a half. And the windows started to defrost in. Yeah. I just couldn't keep up. Man, we got to crank it up a little here. It's cold, cold. Anyways, we don't usually capitulate to the audience. I'll just say that before I read this review. It's not a common thing, as you're well aware, that the audience calls the shots. I think you would agree with that, producer Randy?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think there's a key word in here maybe that you're attracted to. I don't know.
Okay. Well, let's just read this this check-in from a listener.
Okay.
And we'll see how it goes. Love this podcast. 5-star review from Apple Podcasts. I love this podcast so much, and I'm kind of a new listener. I started listening with Biblos and then heard about you guys with an episode of Biblos, and now I love this podcast. Brother Daniel McKillop, you did an amazing job preaching both Cascade Apostolic Youth Camp and a youth conference we had up here. Hang on a second. Kahalis Wa.
Kahalis.
I would love for my review to be mentioned in the next podcast if possible. And no offense, but when I heard Brother Booker pronounce Derek's name as Doric, I was dead. Anyways, we were all dead when we heard that. And that stunning review goes out to A. Hewitt with 2 T's. And I believe they are in Washington. And let's say amen.
It is a Shahalis.
Can I get an amen? Can I get a hallelujah?
Shahalis, Washington.
Never been.
Yes.
Never
Pastor
been.
Shannon Burgess. Great people.
Thank you for the review. We appreciate it.
I seen a comment too last week that was pretty good. Did you see it?
Your version of pretty good and mine may not be the same.
Throw this out into the marketplace and let's talk about it.
I just wanted to chime in and say how much I enjoyed the discussion in this episode. Hearing co-host Derek and the best McKillop, producer Randy, raise insightful points as Pastor McKillop was talking made this episode incredibly engaging and enjoyable. Great job, everyone.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Producer Randy.
What?
Come on.
The best McKillop.
Yeah.
The best
And
McKillop
Producer Randy.
producer
Co-host.
Randy.
Yeah, there's all three.
Co-host, he got us all three in one shot. That's amazing.
And all these three are one. My God.
And he's back to writing his own comments on
Yeah.
the podcast.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah. Producer
been a while.
RPT.
RPT. Yeah.
No, that's on there. Go find it.
That's tremendous. It is. So are we really talking about money today, or we're just gonna maybe get there eventually?
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna go there a bit.
All right.
Go there a bit.
That's good. It makes
I
people
think
listen.
everybody's probably, at least if they are traditional and they read their Bible through every year, which is a good idea. And I'm sure everybody in our audience does.
I like God.
I like God. Yeah. That's a story. Why do you
Messing
say
with you
that?
today. Is that kind of day?
Yeah, it's just kind of putting the bait out there. Yeah, I like God. So they're probably reading through the book of Genesis. I mean,
It is.
we usually
It is.
read
We
the
start at
book
the
of
front.
Revelation.
We start at the front.
over Christmas, and we start with Genesis in January. So as we're reading through this, it's no secret to those that know me very well that Genesis is one of my favorite books of the Bible. I have, I think, 65 others, but Genesis is one of my favorite. If I really start honing them down,
Yeah.
I think I heard an elder say one time, just as an interesting contextualization of the importance of the book of Genesis. It covers the broadest span of human history
Yep.
out of the Bible, contained in one book. And if I'd have known I was going to talk about this, I could have given you exactly what it was. Or
Well, we could have some facts on the fly about Genesis if
Yeah.
you needed them. but-
Well, I was missing because I was currently looking up the most popular book of the Bible, and we probably all could guess it, but
Matthew.
nope,
Genesis.
no, Psalms.
Really?
Well, yeah.
But after Psalms is Genesis.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, seriously.
Genesis, John, Proverbs, and Revelation.
Fascinating. We could have a discussion about that one time. I had another elder. We'll come back to the Genesis thing. Figure out what the span of time is that's covered. How many years is covered in the book of Genesis? It's like thousands.
Really?
Well, I say thousands. I mean,
It's got to, yeah.
Just wait, it's spooling up here.
You're thinking right now.
I'm
are you?
thinking, so keep
Just
talking.
give him a second to think about it.
Yeah.
I had, I think it was Brother Envy that told me this years ago, that if you could only have one book of the
Yeah,
Bible,
I've heard that from someone. Yeah, I
that
heard
the
that.
book of Proverbs is what he said.
Yeah.
That if you lived up to
Yeah.
everything that is contained in the book of Proverbs.
Is that from A Week in the Word?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
we're
so.
going back a number of
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
minutes. Yeah, I knew that
So,
was coming.
but
Do you
I-
have information
I
to
did.
share?
I
You
did.
look
It
like you
just
got
come to
something
me
on the-
because I
the
was
tip of
thinking,
your
right, 'cause
tongue here.
you have the creation of Adam and Eve, and then it goes to Adam and Noah, and then you have the flood, and
Yeah.
then you go all the way to the
Yeah.
patriarchal era.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. Come on.
So by the time you get all the way through, yeah, it's 2,000 to 2,300 years.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you.
That's my rough approximation.
That's what you would say?
Yeah.
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 So every one of the major doctrinal beliefs that guide an apostolic life, the biblical principles, are in seed form, if not even at greater detail, contained within the book of Genesis. You can find it all.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, we had
It's all
a
there.
pre-show ramble about a different topic, and almost every topic you are engaged in, you can find something in Genesis that
Yeah.
grabs it.
You can.
Yeah, it's pretty
You
cool.
can.
It's pretty cool.
So one of those stories that we're going to talk about today is found in Genesis 27, and it's the story of Jacob and Esau and the contention between the two of them over the blessing.
Yes.
So why don't you just read a little context for us? Start at verse number 1, Genesis 27.
And it came to pass when Isaac was old and his eyes were dim so that he could not see, he called Esau his eldest son and said unto him, My son. And he said unto him, Behold, here am I. And he said, Behold, now I am old. I know not the day of my death. Now therefore take, I pray thee, thy weapons, thy
So
quiver.
notice this word here, take. I want you to take something. Okay, go ahead.
Thy weapons, thy quiver, and thy bow, and go out into the field,
And
take me some venison, and make me savory meat, such as I love, and bring it to me that I may eat, that my soul may bless thee before I die.
okay, so here is we're gonna keep tagging this over the next few minutes of conversation. Blessing is not free.
Okay.
Okay, if you go take something, bring it to me, I will bless you. So many people want a blessing
Yeah. Don't we all?
and they don't want to do the taking. They want to take a blessing,
Right. That's right.
right?
Yeah.
They want someone to give that blessing to them.
Right. But what are
but
you doing about
They
it?
don't want to take the responsibility, the submission, the obedience,
Yeah, of course.
the exhibiting dominion
Yep.
over that venison and bringing it, then I will bless thee before I die. Okay? So if you drop to verse 30,
Okay.
and again, this is just contextualizing our discussion here today.
And it came to pass as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. And he also had made savory meat, and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, Let my father arise, and eat of his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac his father said unto him, Who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly, and said, Who? Where is he that hath taken venison, and brought it me? And I have eaten of all before thou camest, and have blessed him.
Yeah.
Yea,
And he will be blessed.
and he shall be blessed.
That's quite I blessed him and I can't take it back.
Blessing is gone. That's right.
Okay.
And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, Bless me,
Yes.
even me also, O my father.
Yes.
And he said, Thy brother came with subtlety, and hath taken away thy blessing.
Okay, see? There's all kinds of people that want to take the blessing, but they don't want to do the necessary taking to earn the blessing. I understand that there's controversy in what I just said there in the earning, yet there is definitely a responsibility. If you want to be blessed of God, this here's not even being blessed of God. This is being blessed by a man. Then you have to be willing to go do what he says. So what we have here is Jacob is a taker, but not a taker of venison, not a taker of bow and arrow, not a taker of bringing the venison back to his dad. He brought a goat. You don't have to catch a goat. It's in a pen. Right? That requires no mastery.
Right.
That's like one guy I heard say, that's like hunting legless turtles, man. Like there's no glory in that. Right? So, yes, Jacob brought something, but he didn't even make it. His mom made it. He was there. The only taking that Jacob did was the blessing. Okay? He never fulfilled anything that Isaac was requiring. So he took my blessing away, Isaac says. Esau says, rather, to Isaac. Is he not rightly named Jacob? And he goes on and he says, he supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright. Okay? And now he has taken away my blessing. So I think it's important within the next few minutes to set this up. I want to put out a major clarifier disclaimer here that I am fully aware that this story has a lot more symbolism in it than what we're going to tap into. Okay? I know we've we've been corrected lately for our chastising of biblos. So let me just smother them in lovey-dovey kisses.
Yeah, we love biblos.
Hugs. But if you've ever heard, you look like you had something fixing to roll
No,
off
I
the
wasn't
tip
going
of
to say
your tongue.
anything about biblos. I don't do that.
Okay.
They're an excellent podcast. I think they're so good I would put them at second place. They're that
That's
good.
That's quite an honor actually to be
to
second
Joe
overall.
Rogan? Or?
No, I just think they would make a great second place podcast.
They're a top tier podcast.
They are.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We love them.
Okay, guys.
We love Brother Urshan.
Listen.
Tremendous.
Have you ever heard Brother Urshan talk about the elder serving the younger?
Yes.
Okay, and the symbolism associated with it. First man Adam, last man Adam. Like there is so much into this, okay?
Oh, of course.
So huge disclaimer here. We are going to be dialing in real tightly on just the portion of this that relates to blessing, okay? So it may force you to look at it through a different lens, and you're right, okay? So don't even, I'm going to save you
Don't
having to-
write us a comment.
Yeah.
Don't even bother.
You're right. You're right. But I want to look at this strictly within the context of blessing.
Yeah.
Okay? God, here, this sets the whole thing up. God does not have a finite amount of blessing. His resources are not limited.
Correct.
So for God to tell you that he's going to bless you, you don't have to look at anybody else in your circle that's getting blessed and go, I think they're stealing part of my blessing from God.
Gotcha.
God can bless producer Randy and you at the same time. We are raised in such a human world and existence that if we're not careful, we begin to relate with the promises of God in the same way that we relate if I gave you a promise. So if I look at you and say, I'm going to give you my inheritance, then you understand I only have one.
That's right.
Okay? And if you're going to get a piece of it, producer Randy, then you got to carve it out of what he's going to get.
That's right.
So at that point, that reduces the race for blessing down to who can outsmart the other guy. God deliver us from the competitive edge with brethren that we are competing with brethren over blessings that only come from God. If God has a blessing for me, I don't have to steal it from a brother.
Yeah.
Very well said. Yeah, it's not a pie that if you get the piece that had my name on it,
Yes.
then the piece of pie is gone. And
Yes.
right.
Absolutely.
That's a flawed way to look at it.
It absolutely is.
And he said, he took my blessing. That's really what got to him, wasn't it not? That was, a cake that had my name written in
Exactly
it in the frosting.
right. Exactly.
And now he ate it and now it's gone.
And because he has it, I don't.
Right.
And that is the case when you're talking to Isaac. That is not the case when you're talking to Jehovah.
Very well said. Very well said. Yeah.
All right?
Yep.
Isaac only has so much cattle, so much land. The farmhouse can only be split up so many ways. Isaac is a man, but God had made a promise to Jacob, and Jacob was trying to get it from Isaac.
That's right.
And that's the problem. So that goes back to Rebecca being with child, and she feels this struggle within her. And this struggle that she's feeling, this internal fight that she is experiencing, obviously surpasses that of just the natural feel of being with child, to the point that the Bible says Rebecca went to God and said, what's going on? This is not normal. Okay? I don't know in the grand scheme of things how she gauged normalcy, but she knew what was happening inside of her was not normal, to the point that it drove her to prayer. She prays, God, what's going on inside of me? And God speaks to her and says, Rebecca, there are two nations inside of you. This is a spiritual MRI. She doesn't, she can't have a CAT scan. She can't go and
Right.
right? She's not looking at a printout that's giving her from her doctor saying, oh, you have twins.
Right.
In fact, if you read the Word of God, it becomes self-evident that she wasn't even fully aware of the twins until they were born. But yet God had spoken to her and said, there are two nations within you. They're wrestling for
Struggle
supremacy.
going on. Yep.
Okay? And I tell you what I'm going to do. There's going to be something new that's happening here. The elder is going to serve the younger. Again, you need to hear Brother Urshan talk about that. Fantastic. The elder is going to serve the younger. That is a societal upheaval. The firstborn child is the one that always was the one that got the inheritance. Okay? So this is important to delineate. We're not talking inheritance for the bulk of our conversation today. We're talking the blessing. Two separate encounters that Jacob subtly robbed his brother of. One was over pottage, and he got the inheritance. The one that we read a moment ago was over blessing, and he was successful in stealing Esau's blessing. Back within the portion of the narrative where Mama is now rocking two babies, going, Jacob is supposed to be the boss. Jacob is supposed to be the greater blessed. Jacob is supposed to be served by Esau. Okay? She didn't dream that up.
Right. She was told that.
By God.
Yeah. Right.
This wasn't a matter of Mama having a favorite.
Yeah, and it wasn't a fight that broke out that she should try to break up. I mean,
Right.
this is going to happen.
We know that Rebekah favored Jacob and Isaac favored Esau, but that's not where that originated.
No.
The concept of the elder serving the younger was one that God gave to her, and that was completely countercultural. Now, I'm telling you, if you're in the kingdom of God and you're in the kingdom of heaven, and you are desiring to be blessed, the avenues to be blessed are countercultural.
Yes. Yes.
It's quite a statement. Yeah.
Okay? So someone that listens to this, stumbles on this, or hears some of these concepts and principles that we're going to be talking about is going to go, that ain't how you do that. That's fine. The worldly system, the society of this world doesn't run on the rails that the kingdom of God runs on. This is an elder serving the younger. This is an upside down approach. So Rebekah raises her two boys constantly on the lookout for, when is this going to happen? When is it going to shift in Jacob's favor? Because God said the younger is going to be served by the elder. Time rocks on. A lot of time rocks on. Isaac is dying. She has been waiting for this moment. When is it going to happen, God? You said. Listen, when God speaks to you, you have got to be mighty careful that you don't rely on the arm of flesh to bring about a divine promise.
Oh, man. That's so tough. Yeah.
God
You
said
see
it.
over and over again that where that happens.
Yes, you do.
Because it's so easy just to
It's
get into
Abraham and
that
Sarah.
man's, yeah. Yeah.
Okay? And you can fill in the blanks for your own life where the propensity is that you go back to the moment that God told you it.
Yeah.
And he did.
Yes.
But the timeline begins to threaten the reality of what he told you. And so you begin to rely on human ingenuity, man-made wisdom, methods to try to bring about a divine reality. When she hears Isaac, she knows Isaac's vision is dim. when she hears Isaac telling Esau, Esau, I am ready to bless you. When she hears it, she springs into action and she immediately begins the ball rolling. All right, Jacob, this is our moment to shine. Okay?
It almost seems like she was looking out for it as much as Jacob was.
I think she was. Well, bro, she was willing as the conversation between Jacob
Yeah.
and her began to the details began to be worked out. Jacob's concern was, well, what happened if I get cursed out of this? Mm-hmm. And she goes, oh no, let me.
Like she's involved as much in the story as the two boys are.
Sure she is.
Yeah.
Bishop
And
Lambeth has a very unique perspective on that, and we'll leave that alone
Yeah.
because maybe he wants to talk about that sometime. Fascinating. Okay? So she hears Isaac and Esau's conversation. Let's talk about it. Verse 1 again says that his eyes were dim. He brings Esau in, his eldest son.
Yep.
He sends for him.
Yep. Said, here am I. And he said, okay, I'm old. I don't know what day it is.
Okay, here's an observation. I find these kind of details very fascinating. Later on in the narrative, when Jacob comes in, and there is a sensory confusion, I'm hearing one thing, but I'm feeling another. He asks, who is this? When Esau comes in and it's authentically Esau, he immediately recognizes who it is. There
That's
is
right.
no, who are you? There's no come closer so I can feel you. None of that. He immediately recognizes this is Esau. Authenticity is a lot easier to detect from a distance than someone who is deviously trying to craft a way of stealing this blessing. All right, read on.
He said, I'm old. I know not the day of my death. Now therefore take, I pray thee, thy weapons, thy quiver, and thy bow, and go out to the field. Take me some venison.
So here's the concept. We've already talked about this a bit, but I want to break it down a bit more. Esau, I have a blessing for you, but it requires something of you. Who wouldn't be willing to go do anything if I have a blessing for you? If we break this down, I mean, to its granular level, that is what working is, getting a paycheck is.
Sure.
It's in exchange for the blessing of support.
Yep.
I'm going to give you, biblical terminology is a denarii a day. That's the pay for, right? Go out in the field, work, and I'll pay you what's right. There's a blessing.
Yep.
Go to the field, take. Okay? These are strong words.
Yep.
And so notice what is happening. There's two worlds coexisting. Three, really. You have Isaac's domain. You have Esau with clear instructions. This is what you do. And we have Jacob and Mama over here planning on using the directives of Isaac, who is vulnerable because his eyes are dim. Let's use his vulnerabilities against him. So you have these three worlds, okay? Isaac tells Esau, go take venison.
Yep.
Go hunt. In order to hunt, this is my wheelhouse. Let me talk about it.
Listen up, folks.
Yeah. What kind of hunting are you going to talk about?
Like, what rifle do you think he took?
Yeah.
I mean,
Bro, it was bows and arrows.
okay. What bow?
Don't add a jot or a tittle
Was it a Matthews?
to the
Was it-
word of God.
Rightly chided.
Yes, yes, it was a mossy oak.
Emphasis on the mossy.
Yes. Okay, what is the concept behind hunting, though?
Yeah.
The hunter, the guy that's good, I've been around the guys that are good, They immerse themselves in the world that they're entering.
Think like you're prey.
Right.
That's right. Oh, yeah.
What are you trying to do? I am trying to smell like something I'm not.
That's right.
I'm trying to present like something I'm not. Why? Because I'm wanting to usurp and I'm wanting to dominate and I'm wanting to take the upper hand. So I'm leaving my world. I'm leaving my comfort zone. I am stepping into yours. And now I'm thinking like a predator to deceive that innocent venison that I'm bringing back. Go hunt, go take, go out, underscoring this for a reason. Go out into the field and conquer it and bring it back to the Father's house. I'm going to say it again. Go out, conquer it, bring it back to the Father's house. At the same time that Esau is out in the field fulfilling the directives of the dim-eyed patriarch of the family, there is a guy within the house and his mama that are doing the same thing.
That's right.
Right? They're deceiving.
Yep. Dressing up.
But it's within the house. It's a role play. Like Esau's out there trying to snag venison. They're in there trying to snag a blessing.
Yes.
They're trying to short circuit the process. And oddly enough, they think that this is fulfilling God's plan.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the funny part.
Right? He did not say, hunt for your blessing within the house. You don't need to get this from a brother. Go to the field
Wow.
and bring it back to the Father's house. So while Esau is role-playing in the field, in that harsh, untamed reality, Jacob is going out into a fish bowl and fishing, as it were. I mean, what? There's no taking there.
No.
What's the kid going to do? It's a kid goat. Okay? And he's trying to deceive the father out of a blessing. Make sense?
It does make sense.
Okay.
It does make sense.
So he comes in chapter 27 and verse 21, he being Jacob, and he is dressed up.
That's right.
Okay?
Got it all on.
He's in his own camo. I mean, Esau's out there in his.
Yep.
Esau's trying to be like the beast so he can get dominion over that nature. Jacob's in there trying to be Esau. Jacob at that point is blessed, is rather dressed. He has the hair on the arms. He's there. He's got the narrative down, and he comes in and he speaks to his father. And when he speaks to his father, Isaac says, dim-eyed Isaac
Yep.
says,
Come near. I pray thee that I may feel thee, my son, whether thou be my very son Esau or not.
okay? He never said that when Esau was authentically standing before him.
No. No, that's right.
But now, when he's being deceived, he's picking something up.
Yeah.
Come near, my son.
Just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Not that you'd trick me or anything, but you know. You know.
Okay.
You know Dad knew those boys, right?
Did he know those boys?
He knew those boys.
Did he know those boys?
Yeah. That's insane.
Read on.
And Jacob went near unto Isaac his father, and he felt him and said, the voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he discerned him not, because his hands were hairy as his brother Esau's hands. So he blessed him.
Yeah.
And he said, art thou my very son Esau? And he said, I am.
Okay. And every time he's speaking,
Kept asking, right?
it's
You
throwing
know,
it's
like-
throwing poor Isaac into this quandary.
Yeah.
Okay. And he brings his supper to him.
Bring
he
it
eats
to me,
it.
I'll eat it. My
Okay.
soul may bless thee. And he
And
brought
so-
it near to him, and he did. He brought him the wine, and he drank.
Yep.
And his father Isaac said unto him, Come near now,
I want to kiss you.
and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment,
And he smelled.
and
Okay.
blessed him, and said,
You.
See the smell of my son. This is the smell of a field.
All right. This is. I want you to get the
lot of
parallels
smelling.
here. No, but don't you do that when you go to the field? You're spraying odor remover
Oh,
on
yeah,
you.
you're doing it all.
You're trying to fit into that world. This Jacob, for all intents and purposes, didn't have a garment that even smelt like a field. He wasn't that guy. But he tried his best to trick every sensory,
Yeah.
what's the word I'm looking for? Receptor
Yeah.
that his dad had.
Yeah.
I'm playing your eyes against you, and I know I can't trick my voice, but every other level, we're going to make sure that the taste is right.
Feels right.
We're going to make sure the feel is right. We're going to make sure the smell is right.
He was preying on his father.
And totally he was.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to keep the talking to a minimum.
It's hard to fool that voice.
Well said. And there's a reason. We are audible creatures.
Yes.
All right. And so we have to understand, if I can take just a brief offshoot here, that when we find ourselves in situations that our feelings are in conflict
Talk about it. Yeah.
with what we're hearing,
Yeah.
then we better go with what we're hearing.
Yeah.
How many times have you heard someone say, I feel,
Yeah.
I feel?
Okay. How much does this happen in church? You get in a position where your feelings are lying to you,
Yeah.
and it affects how you hear preaching. And you know, I shouldn't be hearing it this way,
Sure.
but I feel this way. And you're in that tension. And all of your senses are telling you one thing, but the audible is telling you another.
Yeah, if you apply that to the wildlife like you're talking about, imagine if wildlife functioned on their feelings. They would all be dead,
Yes.
right? They
Yes.
all function
Yes.
off of
Yes.
hearing mostly,
Yes.
right?
It's
Smell.
phenomenal.
Right.
So I have a bunch of deer around my house this time of year because they come out of
Are
the
they
deep
safe
woods. Yeah,
around
they're
your
safe
house?
at my property. Milo kind of looks at them, but he doesn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And there's oats around my place from time to time for deer. And I remember my first time, and I'll be quick here, but my great grandfather used to feed
Did he ever?
deer
Oh, yes.
at his place.
Oh, yes. he
So as a
did.
young child,
Yeah.
you would go up there and see them,
Yes,
and
he
it's
did.
phenomenal. Even though these deer are practically tame, when you see a deer in the wild, and there's food right there on the ground, but it's like they take a step and they look around. Their ears are up,
Oh, yes.
nose is up.
Oh, yes.
It's like hyper
Yes.
sensory involvement.
Yes.
If I remember right, you had to wear his coat.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
could actually feed it out of a bucket, but you had to put his coat on. Because if
That's
you
it.
didn't smell like him, they weren't near you. You could go out, drop the oats, and be walking back 3 steps away, and they'd be eating. But you put his coat on.
You could
and they'll
actually
feed out of
feed
a
it. You could
bucket.
stay right
Yeah.
there.
Very phenomenal. Yeah. It's very cool to see.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I think in 2025, and this is a prayer that I pray as a leader, and I think every one of us need to pray this. I want to have my senses exercised.
Yes. Yeah.
Having your senses exercised. For what? To discern
Sure.
between good and bad,
Yep.
between evil and that which is good.
Well, and it's and I'll just say this and I'll be done, but it's frustrating if you have somebody talk to you. It's happened to me before, and people that mean well, and it's not even necessarily in a church environment, in a work world. Somebody can come up to you and be like, "Man, I just feel like there's whatever," and it's frustrating because it puts you in a weird spot
Well, it does. It does.
when there is actually nothing.
Right. But they're feeling it.
It's like you're feeling
Yep.
whatever,
Yep.
anger,
Yep.
jealousy, whatever it is.
Yep.
It's when your feelings take over, it can be dangerous.
And I think it's critical that we don't become sensory driven. We remain spirit
Yeah, that's right.
driven. Try the spirits.
Yeah.
So when the story is told me,
Sure.
I don't want to get on the feeling bandwagon
Yeah.
when the facts still remain. You are not Esau, you're Jacob.
That's just it.
I don't want to be duped.
And you can read through that where he tried, he's like, man, come here, come closer.
Yes.
Touch the hands.
And so often this is about,
It's like,
to keep it consistent with the narrative, so often this is about blessing.
sure it is.
The pursuit of what you feel God has promised you for your future.
Sure it is.
Maybe if you're in the ministry, for your church, for
right
your
there, right?
family, and it drives the feeling drain, right? As you're-
Especially if you don't get it, somebody else will.
exactly.
That's it.
It's a limited scope. There's only so much fluid in the cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is my ticket.
And if you drink it, I'm done.
Yeah.
there it goes.
Right?
It has a shelf life.
missed
all the
opportunity.
things. Yeah.
So what we got to understand, and to keep it within the context of what we were talking about at the beginning, is that God had told Rebekah some things were going to happen, and Jacob thought he had to get him from Esau and Isaac. You don't have to do that, Jacob.
Yeah. That's
You
it.
don't have to do it.
That's it.
So when we move into a bit of a landing strip here, take your weapons. The approach to getting that blessing, according to Isaac, is take from the field,
Bring it back.
bring to the Father's house.
Yep.
I will bless. Take, bring, I will bless. Take, I'm not stuttering here. I want you to get this concept. Take, bring, and I will bless. Jacob gave meat that he didn't take and took a blessing that wasn't his.
Wow. Wow. Listen to that. Boom. He sure did. You didn't go hunt that goat.
No, he didn't.
You didn't go anywhere.
Like, come on.
Don't have to bring it. It's already here.
We've all been there. We're getting a bit ahead of ourselves. But how much can you enjoy something you stole anyway?
Yeah. Not a bit.
Right? And I think the story bears it out.
Yep.
Okay. What I want to do, and maybe this is a bit of a unexpected twist here, but within that context of take, bring, be blessed. Go out, conquer, take dominion, bring back to the Father's house, and I will bless you. I want you to, from that lens, I want you to read for me Malachi chapter 3 and verse number 10.
Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse,
Oh,
that there may be meat in mine house.
oh,
And prove me now herewith,
Well.
saith the Lord of hosts,
well,
if I will not open you the windows of heaven and
Well.
pour you out a blessing.
if I will not do what?
Pour you out a blessing.
Yeah. So
and
this,
I'll do what? I'll open the what?
Windows
Oh,
of heaven.
well, ain't that something?
Pour you out a blessing,
Yeah.
that there shall not be room enough to
This is
receive.
not Isaac's window. This is windows of heaven.
Right.
Okay?
Based on what you brought in.
Based on what you went out into the field and brought back to the storehouse, that there would be meat in my Father's house. Go take, bring back, and I will bless.
I will.
Boy, this is going to be popular. But to stay in the house and just be an inside trader, and I'm not sure if I mean trader or traitor,
Traitor.
and expect God to bless you,
Right.
and you're not going to bring your tithes into the storehouse,
There it is.
okay? And those people become obsessed with the Esau's.
Well, yes, they do.
How come God's blessing him, blah, blah. Jacob, go get you a bow. Go get you some arrows. Get out in the field.
Figure out where
Take
they're at.
some venison. Bring that back to the storehouse, and he'll bless you. Okay? Goes on to say that he'll rebuke the devourer for your sake. Okay?
It's quite a blessing.
That's quite a blessing. So I got a sincere question to ask you. I understand, again, important that we delineate at this moment between the inheritance that he purchased with a bowl of lentils versus the blessing that he deceived his brother out of. So I'm aware that at a point in the future, Jacob did realize the ground, the literal ground that he had purchased, if you will, from Esau when Esau came back from hunting. But the portion of the blessing is what I'm wanting to really dial in. There's inheritance, then there's blessing. And Esau realizes he was losing on both. When Jacob is standing as Esau before Isaac, notice what he says, what Isaac tells him in verse 36 of Genesis chapter number 27. And he said,
Is not he rightly named Jacob?
okay, so here's Esau recounting. Okay.
For he hath supplanted
Yes.
me these 2 times.
Yes.
He took away my birthright. And behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. And he said, Hast thou not reserved a blessing for me?
Didn't you keep, see, limited,
Right.
because it is a man.
Yeah.
All right.
And Isaac answered him and said unto Esau, Behold, I have made him thy Lord,
Okay, so this is what I want to focus in. I made him your Lord.
and all his brethren have I given to him for servants.
Now, when Rebecca heard that, I guarantee you she thought that was the fulfillment of God's promise.
Sure.
The elders serving the younger. But it's Isaac that is saying this. I have made him your Lord. Okay, read on.
And with corn and wine have I sustained him.
I gave him corn and wine.
And what shall I do now unto thee, my son?
I gave, where's it says in there about the brethren, all the brethren. I
Yeah,
have
all his
given to
brethren
him.
have I given to him for servants.
Okay,
Yep.
so I'm reading through this and I'm asking myself, where did this happen? Did Jacob ever realize that particular portion of what Isaac said he could be blessed with?
Right, because he said it to Esau.
And he's telling Esau that he told Isaac,
Yep.
that he told
Yep.
Jacob rather,
Yep.
this. But this is what I want you to notice. The next day, maybe even the same day, he has to leave. He leaves alone. None of the servants go with him as him being their master. Corn, he's alone in a field the next night.
Yep. Sleeping on a rock.
14 years later, he's coming back, and I want you to look at Genesis 32 and 4 and see if we can just pick up a little pattern here.
32:4 says, And he commanded them, saying, Thus shall you speak unto my lord Esau.
Oh, unto who?
My lord Esau.
I thought that Jacob was made Lord over Esau. Verse 18, same chapter.
Verse 18 says, Then thou shalt say, They be thy servant Jacob's. It is a present sent unto my lord Esau.
Unto who?
My lord Esau.
My Lord Esau. Chapter 33 and verse number 8.
Says, And he said, Which meanest thou by all this drove which I met? And he said, These are to find grace in the sight of my Lord.
Who's the Lord over who? Where did he ever realize it? The point I'm wanting to pull out of this is that oftentimes the things that we cheat, conniver to get, and a man says, and this is what I gave him, we don't ever even get to realize the fruition of it.
That's right.
14 years later, Esau is still Lord over Jacob.
Jacob's still calling him Lord. Yes.
Still. Because all of that was tied to Isaac. What had been prophesied to be a blessing over Jacob's life was not to come from Esau or to even come from Isaac. It's coming from God. Can God use Isaac and Esau to bless you? Yes.
sir.
But can God bless Isaac, Esau, and Jacob? Yes, he can. Now, this is where I want you to track with me, and we're going to be landing with this. Genesis chapter number 28. So he's just stolen this. He's run. He's not running with bags of corn thrown over his back. He's not running with a bunch of servants that are calling him master.
That's
He
right.
is for sure not running with
right.
Esau going, my Lord Jacob. Okay?
Yeah.
He's running for his life.
He's on the run.
Doesn't that sound like blessing?
Boy.
Not really.
Sounds more like a curse to me at that point.
That's right.
28 and 10.
Says, and Jacob went out from Beersheba toward Haran.
Yes.
And he lighted upon a certain place and tarried there all night because the sun was set. And he took of the stones of that place and put them for his pillows.
Yes.
And lay down in that place to sleep. And he dreamed, and behold, a ladder set up on the earth. And the top of it reached to heaven. And behold, the angels of God ascending and descending. And behold, the Lord stood above it and said, I am the Lord God of Abraham thy father and the God of Isaac. The land where thou liest, to thee will I give it.
To thee will I
Give it.
give it. Now we have Jacob stumbling into the fulfillment of what God has said.
Yeah, this is divine blessing.
I'm going to give it to you.
Right.
Okay? We don't have time to get into this, but it's later on that Jacob wrestles with the theophany, whatever you think it is. And he goes, I'm not going to let you go until you bless me, not who I think I am, not who I'm pretending to be. I want you to bless me. Okay? This is the beginning of that right here. And he says, I'm going to bless you, Jacob. Leave it with me. You don't need your mom to help you steal the blessing from Esau. I will bless you. The land you're laying on, I will give it to you. Okay? Go ahead. And thy seed,
And thy seed shall be of the dust of the earth, and
Yeah.
thou shalt spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south.
all the
And
families of the
thee
earth are going
and
to be
thy seed.
blessed.
That's right.
Okay?
I'm with thee. I will keep thee in all places where
Yes.
thou goest. I will bring thee again into this land, for I will not leave thee until I have done that which I have spoken to thee of.
Who did he get this land from? Esau or God?
Yeah.
Right? And so if we're not
even
careful,
really Isaac, if you look at it that
No,
way. Right?
we'll say, well, he did end up getting it from Esau. No. God said, I will give it to you. Stop trying to steal it. God said, I will give it to you. You can't take God's blessing from me.
Boom. That's right.
It's impossible. If God has told me that I can have it, you can't steal
If it's
that.
actually yours, you'll get it.
Right. You can steal my personal blessing, but not one that God has for me.
Yeah, but as we can see, you really won't get to enjoy what
No, you
you
won't.
steal.
Right.
Right.
So he's laying there. He's just awakened from this moment where heaven has opened. The windows of heaven have opened. The angels are ascending and descending. And where is he? In a field. This is where he was supposed to be. This is where you go to get blessed.
That's right.
And what does he find? Well, wow, God was in this place. And I knew
it not.
and
Exactly.
I knew it not.
Exactly.
Right? And God's out here going, hey, son, I can open the windows of heaven over you. I can bless you. You know that ground you're laying on? I'll give that to you.
You don't got to fool people.
Don't you worry about that. And I'll bless you so much that your seed will fill the earth and all the nations of the world will be blessed through you. I mean, boom, you can't do that with what you just stole from Esau. But the blessing that I just said that I was going to give you is so limitless that if you'll just work with me, Jacob, quit pretending to be what you're not and quit trying to steal something. Now, notice this. Verse 20.
Jacob vowed a vow, saying, if God will be with me
If you'll be with me, God,
and will keep me in this way that
and
I
if
go,
you'll keep me.
and will give me bread to eat and
Yeah.
raiment to put on,
Yeah.
so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then shall the Lord be my God.
Yes.
And this stone, which I have set for a pillar, shall be God's house. And of all that thou shalt give me,
And of all that thou shalt what?
give me,
Give me.
I will surely give the 10th unto thee.
When he's standing in a field under an open heaven, he realizes there's something to this. I promise you I'll pay my tithes.
Yeah.
I'll give the 10%. If you want the windows of heaven to open up over your life, there's one way that you can do it, and that's not by stealing from Esau.
That's right.
It's by bringing a 10th of everything that you can drag out of the field,
Go.
bring it back into the Father's house, and God reaches over and cranks open the window of heaven over your life. See, prove me. Bring your tithes and your offerings into the storehouse. Bring it in that there be meat, and see if I won't open the windows of heaven over you. Come on, Jacob. God's got a blessing for you. Just quit trying to steal it from Esau and understand that if you'll just bring in that 10%, the windows of heaven will open up over top of you today.